Morning beeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. We got a nice run of big boxing in the next couple of weeks coming up. We got obviously Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron. On the same night we got Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. What's left of Loma at 35. The week after it's the rematch between Mauricio Lara, Lee Wood, Okoli, Billam Smith, Luis Alberto Lopez, Michael Conlon, all world title fights. There's a couple of undisputeds in there as well. So yeah, a good few weeks of boxing coming up. All right, let's see what news there is to talk about today. British boxing head on Conor Benn's apology doesn't make a lot of difference. Conor Benn might just have to lick his wounds here and just go in and see the British Boxing Board of Control, accept the ban and move on. Accept the ban. It will be backdated to when, I don't know, either when the fight was going to happen, October, or when he first tested positive, maybe August. You know how it works. Take your ban. Take your ban, apologize, move on. Move on. He might then think that's admitting guilt, whatever it is, just take it, move on, and let's get this story over and done with. Because I feel like he's not winning this one. He's not winning it. And again, this is not me saying he's guilty or innocent. A lot of people have already made up their own opinions on this. But regardless of whether or not you've ingested this drug on purpose, it was in your system, take the ban. Honestly, take the ban. It's a year. And again, like I said, it'll be backdated. And he'll be in the ring again in 4 or 5 months. That's it, right? That's true. It's not like there's this massive fight on the horizon where if he takes his ban, he's going to lose out on that fight. That would have been Eubank. Now the Eubank fight isn't happening. There isn't just this, unless Matchroom have got an opponent ready now, then okay, he might want to just fight in the Middle East and, you know, not accept a blanket worldwide ban, because right now we can go and fight elsewhere. But maybe it's a case of, you know what, okay, you know, we fucked up here. This wasn't handled correctly. I'm just going to take the ban, apologize, and move on. And you guys are going to see me again in the autumn. That's kind of what I think should happen here. Gervonta Davis's coaching staff believes Lomachenko bout wouldn't last 2 rounds. Oh, okay, now you're saying it, right? you didn't want to fight this man 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, but now all of a sudden, you're saying Gervonta would beat up a 35-year-old Lomachenko. By the way, I don't think you would smoke him in 2 rounds, but it's easy to say now, isn't it? And look, Gervonta Davis isn't a kid, by the way, so let's understand, 4 years ago, Gervonta Davis was 24. So it's not like, you know, I'm saying, oh, you know, Loma was going to fight a 20-year-old Gervonta Davis. No, 5 years ago, Gervonta was 23. Those fights could have happened, but no one seemed to want to fight Loma. All of a sudden, now they're all queuing up around the block to fight him. It's true though, isn't it? Look, let's see how Loma gets on against Devin. I still think Loma could cause him some serious problems. Obviously, Devin's the favourite, rightly so. The fresher, the younger, the bigger. And Loma's clearly not what he once was. I mean, I think he's still very, very good. And I still think there's an element to him that is still very good. But I think wear and tear on the body, he's fighting outside his weight class. These guys are so much bigger than him. It's incredible, especially on fight night. And remember, there's no hydration clauses. These guys are rehydrating to whatever they want, and they're just so much bigger than him. Plus, the body's just had so many injuries. I think Loma's had 2 shoulder surgeries. I think he's had elbow surgery and inactivity as well. So yeah, he's not what he once was, but there still is something very special about Lomachenko. Clarissa Shields, my goal was to knock out Gabrielle's as soon as the chance comes. Remember, Gabrielle's, I think, is the only person to have put Clarissa down. That's the kind of selling point here. Clarissa's running out of opponents, isn't she? She's running out of opponents, hence why there was this want to do the PFL. There aren't that many fights out there for her. I guess, look, I know she's very close with Franchon Cruz Dezern, but I guess secretly, maybe the want is for Savannah to win, Savannah to become undisputed at 168, and then Clarissa jumps up to that and then fights Savannah at 168 and becomes undisputed in that weight class, or at least you then at least sell the fight Without that fight, and maybe my knowledge of that weight class isn't too strong, but I can't think of who else she can fight. 160, 168. There isn't that many females out there in and around that weight class that are very good. So yeah, I wonder what they do with her. Eddie Hearn willing to fast track Andy Cruz. I'd put him in with Tank now. Look, obviously a bit of hyperbole there from Eddie, but Andy Cruz is ready to go. And I do think he would put him in, obviously not with Tank right now, but very close to that. And then maybe the fight after you go, what's the point hanging around? This is a 3-time world champion and an Olympian. And trust me, I know people like to say, oh, but it's amateur boxing, it's professional boxing. If you're that good as an amateur, you're going to be bloody good as a pro. You are. He's got the confidence as well. And for years, we haven't seen, obviously we've started to see a few Cubans sort of come through, like, Arislande Lara and Luis Ortiz, etc., Frank Sanchez, but we don't see many, Rigondo. This could be the best of the lot. This could be the best of the lot coming through from this era. And I think you'll chuck him in with any of them right now and it would hang. And maybe, 1 or 2 fights to get used to the pro, the glove size, etc. And then he'll be ready. He'll be ready to go with any of them. Very special talent. It's how Eddie promotes now and pushes him. How does Eddie get, like, the hardcore fans would know about him, but how does Eddie get the casual fans on board to realize this is a special talent? That will be the struggle. Jamel Charlo calls out Canelo. That bitch can't beat me. Here we go. Remember, Jamel Charlo's the smaller twin. So he's the 154-pound undisputed. I don't know. I think Canelo would beat Jamel Charlo. I mean, I like Jamel. I think Jamel's the better of the two. But yeah, I think it's time Jamel goes to 160. I'm not sure what he's waiting around for 154 pounds now. I mean, there are some good names down there, don't get me wrong. And look, but he's become undisputed. The 2 fights which were close, he's avenged both, if you like. Castano, who I thought beat him, officially a draw. He beat Castano. Tony Harrison, who did beat him, he got revenge there. So I think you can go. I know there's the Tim Tszyu fight, but there'll be bigger fights surely at 160 for him. So I'd like to see him go. And if he wants to jump straight to 168, he's clearly got the frame to do that. And then let's do it. And Canelo probably needs these kind of tests out there. I did do a video the other day talking about it. Like, at 168, there aren't that many challenges or challenges that put bums on seats. And I do think Canelo is at this stage now where he does need a dance partner. What's this? Buatsi to Yarde. Whilst the titles are tied up, let's do something. Yeah, let's do something. Let's have this fight now. I feel like I've been talking about this fight for a couple of years. It's been a fight that we've been speaking about for ages. 2 very good British light heavyweights. And look, I said this actually before. I said, what did I say? I was very happy for Yarde to get the payday against Beterbiev, but I've always thought that Beterbiev was going to beat Yarde. Excited for the fight, but I thought that was going to happen. And I didn't think Buatsi was going to fight Dimitri Bivol. So I was like, okay, why didn't they just fight each other? And then the winner then fights one of the world champions. I just feel like, when are we ever going to do this fight? Buatsi's 30. I'm going to guess and say Yarde is 32. Could be wrong. Let's have a quick look. Yarde is 31. Okay, Yarde is 31, 32 in August. These aren't young kids anymore. Don't get me wrong. They both look like they're in great shape and I guess to an extent lived the life. So, they could go a bit longer. But 31, 32, we're not that far away from the end. My only concern with this is I do feel there was a time when there was a real want for it. I still desperately want to see it, but I think there was a time when there was a real want for it. Right now, I don't know if the energy is what it was a year ago. Again, Buatsi's coming off a maybe not so great performance on the weekend. Yarde's coming off a loss. I think a year ago you could have maybe sold this potentially as a pay-per-view fight. Maybe. Now, I'm not quite sure if you can. And look, if it were to be on Boxer would want to do that. They would want to put it on as a pay-per-view fight to pay the both of them because both of them are going to want to get paid. So I don't know. I don't know if there's the appetite for it like there once was. I think once it gets announced, I think people would get behind it because, again, it's going to be a great fight. So it's a London showdown. And I've always said this, nothing beats a domestic dust-up for me. This could be almost the trial of like a lower priced pay-per-view point. Like not every pay-per-view has to be $19.95. I've always said this. I don't understand how it's one fee. Like in America, they do different prices. Obviously for the big ones, they will do $80, $90, but there have been some in the last few years which are less than that. Which one? There was one, I think, Charles Martin. Did Charles Martin fight Luis Ortiz? Am I right in thinking that happened? And I remember that being at $40. So imagine if they insisted on doing pay-per-view, that one was a tenner. You could do it, couldn't you? But look, I like the fight. I've always liked the fight. I do think they both won it. Buatsi and Eddie, when obviously Buatsi was signed to Eddie, did put an offer out to Yarde to take this fight before Yarde fought Beterbiev. Yarde told me this himself. I'm not revealing anything that nobody doesn't know. But Yarde obviously took the Beterbiev fight. You're going to, right? You're going to fight. You definitely want to fight a world champion. You want to prove yourself out there. Now, though, I do wonder what that offer was and whether Boxer can put that money together to entice Yarde and obviously entice Frank to let Yarde go over to Boxer, just like they did with the Joseph Parker Joe Joyce fight. Maybe they can get something like that on. But yeah, look, really want to see it. I do. And then we'll see what happens with the winner. I mean, if you're Buatsi, and I get it that Virgil Hunter clearly wants to take things slow here, but if you're Buatsi and you beat Yarde, then it's like, okay, who's next? Who's out there? Is it Bivol? Do I get a look in at the Callum Smith Beterbiev winner? Vosdick, potentially. Marcus Brown, what do I do? But yeah, I like the fight, and look, fingers crossed it can happen. Jake Paul, I'm going to do what McGregor couldn't. I'm going to knock out Nate Diaz. Next. Like the fight, but it's different, isn't it? It's like one was in MMA, one's going to be in boxing. I do think Nate Diaz beats him, by the way. Like Nate Diaz can box. Like Andre Ward, and this is, to be fair, this is years ago, but Andre Ward always used to use him for southpaw sparring. So it's not like Nate calling up Andre Ward, like, hey, can I get some rounds? And it's Andre Ward calling Nate saying, I need you for southpaw sparring, please. And he's awkward and he's got this kind of weird style, but his pressure, the constant pressure is just, it's suffocating. I do think people look at him and they think, this guy just smokes weed and he kind of talks in a strange, slow way. So they maybe look at him a bit different. This guy competes in triathlons. He's always in the gym. That's just the way he is. But he can fight. And he's going to force Jake to take some gulps of breath because he's going to put the pressure on Jake from round one. And Jake's going to land a couple of big right hands and realize, fuck, you can't knock out this kid, can you? And we'll see what Jake does then. What else have we got here? Who's this? Kenneth Igano, 22, passes away from injury suffered on Pacquiao card. Who's Kenneth Igano? Look, first and foremost, how sad is that, right? Let's get the most important thing out there. That's sad, but I've not heard of this guy before. I'm gonna see who he is. Kenneth Igano, obviously from the Philippines. His last fight was June. His last fight was literally 6th of May. So just gone. Wait, is that true? 2023, it is. His last fight was only a few days ago. And he won it as well. Jeez. He actually collapsed. This is what BoxRec is saying. He collapsed in his corner during the announcement of the bout result. Mate, you don't play with this sport, do you? It's such a dangerous sport, boxing. So dangerous, isn't it? I mean, we love it. We love it, and it's such a dangerous sport, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, my condolences to all his family and friends. That's horrible news. All right, last bit here. Rigondo to return June 9th from Adrian Broner, Bill Hutchinson show in Miami. I don't know what Rigondo's chasing here. Rigondo must be about 44, 45. I'm not quite sure what he's chasing. There was a time, I remember when he was coming through, where you just thought, ain't nobody beating this guy. Ain't nobody beating him. Like, he's going to run through everybody. And it just didn't happen. For whatever reason, TV didn't really like him. He was almost forced to go up a couple of weight classes to take on Loma just because he needed something. He did an exciting fight. That didn't quite work out. But, yeah, look, good luck to him. 43, 44. Don't know what the chase is or the want is anymore. I'm guessing it's money. But let's first of all, let's hope that fight card goes ahead, because this is an Adrian Broner, Don King fight card. Yeah, maybe you don't want to buy tickets to that fight card until you walk into the venue and you know for a fact that everyone's going to be there. Peace and love.